UFC 317. How we doing, everybody? My name is Young Pasty, and I'm here today to give you a pick and a prediction for every single fight on the card. UFC 317 is stacked, guys. Okay? Don't get it twisted. 2 championship bouts in the main and the co-main. A bunch of great fights throughout. Royval versus Van. Dariush versus Moicano. Talbott versus Lima. Amil versus Delgado. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's stacked. There's a couple fights where I'm like, meh, could have done a little better here. But nevertheless, a stacked pay-per-view. That's what we like to see. So, as we always do here, guys, we have to recap last week. UFC Baku. And I'm pulling the results up here right now. Gave you a grim face because we went 5-7 on the picks. Not too good. No. Probably my worst week of the year, to be honest with you. Jamal Hill, terrible pick. Ignacio did everything I thought he wouldn't do in a bad way. Tafik Masayev, now Oralbai came in 10 pounds overweight, wins a catch weight fight. I would have liked to seen that fight at the regular weight. You know what I mean? Oban Elliott let down. Melissa Mullins let down. Arina Alexieva lost to a Claudia Saigula. The Hamdi fight, okay, could have gone either way. I'll give it to him. You know what I mean? But yeah, even my wins were kind of, sketchy. Jun Young Park, Naimov, Blades, Ulanbekov. These are all, all the favorites, barely kind of won or just kind of sliding by. You know what I mean? So, 6 underdogs hit for UFC 317. And I dug up a little stat, right? I said, how many times have 6 plus underdogs hit on a UFC card in the last 10 years? And 13. So it's, once a year kind of occurrence. 15 years, not 10, 15 years. So once a year kind of occurrence, so let's get the bad juju and the bad week out of our brains and let's move on to UFC 317. Now, if you guys are new to the channel or if you have not, click that subscribe button. Like the video, throw a comment down there. Support goes a long way. We are on the road to 300 subscribers. So again, would appreciate if you could help me hit my goal. Secondly, my Patreon's free. Link is in the description. That's where I put all of my bets when I place them. So you can, get the odds when they're good. My bets video drops Wednesday or Thursday. So I put my bets in way before that. The odds always sway in the opposite way. Patreon is free. So links in the description. Go and see all my plays when I put them in. So Let's get to it here. UFC 317, starting with the main event. We have, for the vacant lightweight belt, Ilia Topuria, El Matador, versus Charles the Bronx Oliveira. Odds on the fight, minus 440 for Ilia and plus 340 for Oliveira. My pick for this fight is going to be Ilia Topuria. Man, I'm a big fan of Charles Oliveira, and it was hard for me to pick against him here, but I need to pick with my brain, not my heart. You know what I mean? The Arman Tsarukyan fight really showed me that Ilia can win this fight, and he has 5 rounds to work with rather than 3. So, Ilia has great striking, great boxing, super powerful, great movement, light on the feet, and amazing takedown defense. Now, I think he can keep this fight standing. Charles Oliveira, yes, has much more UFC experience, has underrated striking, and still has power, so don't get it twisted. But dude has amazing grappling, amazing jiu-jitsu. The subs from everywhere. Okay, he could be halfway across the octagon, submit you. I don't know how, but he could, right? What I'm saying is he's always a threat, whether it's on the feet or on the mat. But I think Ilia can keep this off the mat. And honestly, he can use his own offensive grappling. I think he might even mix that in. Now it's we have not seen Ilia at this weight class. How will he look built up and bulked up? At least in the UFC, right? So, I don't know. We'll see how he looks versus an elite guy in Oliveira. Ilia does eat a lot of kicks. He can get hit at times. He's constantly pressuring, constantly fainting. Does have a problem with people that move a lot. Now, Charles Oliveira isn't moving around crazy. He switches stances every now and then, has a pretty good striking, good kicks, but he's not like a masterclass movement kind of guy. You know what I mean? Oliveira has been 5 rounds. We have not seen Ilia really go distance like that because he really hasn't needed it. Oliveira will be taller, 5 inches on the reach, 3 inches taller. But I've seen Ilia go up against people that are taller and find success in Oliveira. So honestly, Charles Oliveira needs to get this fight to the ground. He really needs to stay off his back because he gets too comfortable on his back at times. And if Ilia is on top there, getting ground and pound in, I think Oliveira can survive, but he's not going to be too successful with the sub attempts because Ilia is smart, right? He's just a smart guy. So Ilia Topuria is my pick. I think he gets a knockout in the later stages of the 4th or 5th round. So Ilia by KO is my official call. What do the people on Tapology have to say? 81% of people are picking Ilia Topuria, most say by KO. 19% of people are picking Charles Oliveira, most say by submission. Look, I mean, it's not crazy to say, right? It's always a possibility. But Ilia's a minus 440 for a reason. I do love Charles Oliveira. I bet him in the past. I bet him on the Arman Tsarukyan fight. And I pulled it up and I watched it again. And when the fight was standing, Arman did so much better than Charles. Right? So, and was on top of Charles and landed lots of ground and pound at times. It's like, how much do you rate the submission attempts over damage and control and good striking? So, I'm going to take Ilia Topuria, 4th or 5th round KO. All right, our next fight here, we have Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. Odds in the fight, we have minus 265 for Pantoja and plus 215 for Kara France. My pick for this fight is going to be Alexandre Pantoja. Give me the champ. And still, let's not disrespect my guy here. My dude has elite wrestling, elite grappling, great top control on the mat, good takedowns, good entries. That's his master class. That is his expertise. Grappling, holding people down on the ground. I mean, his striking's okay. Don't get twisted. I think it's underrated at times. But if this is a pure striking match, I think Kara France is going to take it. But I don't believe Kara France has it in him to defend all of these takedown attempts from Pantoja because he can do it from every single way. Right? On the fence, open mat, in the clinch. I mean, honestly, shoot a double leg, single leg. Pantoja's dang good at getting people to the mat. And he's done it with everybody. I'm honestly surprised these two, like their paths haven't crossed at some point because Kara France been fighting for a while, so has Pantoja. Pantoja fights for like Royval like 8 times. Doesn't have one fight versus Kara France. Same thing Moreno, right? So, but, I mean, Pantoja does this to everybody. He just takes people down, wrestle fucks them, and is just dominant, right? Yeah, he has sketchy moments in like 4th or 5th rounds where maybe he can't get that takedown, has to keep it striking, but he's already won the fight at that point. He just needs to survive. It's not like he's going to get 10-8'd in that round where even if other prior rounds were close. Like, I just don't see Kara France going to be able to withstand any of these takedowns from Pantoja or be able to get up or scramble at all. Maybe a little bit, but I mean, Kara France, good striker, powerful, great right hand. Always sticking his dang tongue out when he wins. Right, this is his biggest test yet going up against Pantoja. Not good on the back at all. Get-up game is not really that good. He has been 5 rounds before, so. And we've seen Albazi find great success with the wrestling. I didn't know why he didn't use it more often because if he did, he probably wouldn't have to win that fight by a split decision. You know what I mean? Kara France can get held on the fence. Pantoja loves to hold people on the fence. Kara France really just needs to keep this fight standing. Right? He had better be working on his get-ups and his sprawls and his takedown defense and his get-up game. But I just don't think, no matter how much he's worked on that, it's going to be enough when you're going up against the champ in Pantoja. So, Alexandre Pantoja, give me him by decision. So, that is my official call. What do the people on Tapology have to say? 90% of people are picking Pantoja, most say by a decision. A good 38% here by submission. 10% of people are picking Kara France, and most say by KO. So, going to be a good fight nevertheless. A name he needs to beat. And another good name to put on his resume. 5 title defenses. So, yeah. His last 2 weren't really the best, right? In Kai Asakura and Steve Erceg, but he had already fought everybody up until that point. It's like, we don't want to see Pantoja versus Royval 4 in a championship bout again. You know what I mean? So, Pantoja by decision is my official call. All right, moving on. We have Brandon Royval, a.k.a. Raw Dog, versus Joshua Van, the Fearless. Odds in the fight, we have plus 102 for Royval and minus 122 for Van. My pick for this fight is going to be Joshua Van. I've never picked against Joshua Van. Why would I do it at this point? Now, I was concerned at first about the quick turnaround time because he just fought literally 2-3 weeks ago. But he's young. He's fighting every 2-3 months anyway. And, he really didn't take a lot of damage in that Bruno Silva fight. And it wasn't like a gritty back and forth, took a lot of damage here kind of fight. You know what I mean? It's like he took care of business. Didn't really look too tired in the 3rd round either. So now this is his biggest test yet going up against Royval. Royval needing a new opponent. Manel Kopp pulls out with a foot injury. Joshua Van steps in. Royval's a vet, right? Has lots of great wins. Now, something I'm concerned about with him is these concussions and these injuries, right? He had 2 concussions, which caused him to pull out in his last fight here in March. I was hearing that he literally couldn't even put sentences together. That's how bad his concussions were. So, I don't know. It's just something to kind of think about in the back of my head, right? But Joshua Van, the rising prospect, great momentum, amazing striking, good boxing, good volume, takedown defense. At first, I was, at first and at second, I was concerned about Royval's, takedowns. He's longer and taller. He's managed to get people down on the ground, right? No, Joshua Van's going to be able to avoid that. Now, the distance, right, and the range management, because Royval's pretty good at that. I think Joshua Van can close distance. We've seen him doing with lots of fighters, right? He was winning that Charles Johnson fight, and I say it to this day, that was an early stoppage. Very early stoppage. Joshua Van was there. He could have finished that fight, got back up, probably could have won it. So, yeah, honestly, I think Van can close distance. I think, he may get caught with shots here and there. Joshua Van's going to be 1st and 3rd. Royval's going to be 2nd and 4th. Who's going to get the better of the striking exchanges? I think Joshua Van can put his combos together more nicely. And he's just the momentum, the confidence, he just keeps improving and getting better from fight to fight to fight. Good fighter IQ, good corner. Royval's highly ranked. People count him out just like now. Ends up being an underdog and pulls off these wins. 4-1 in the last 5. His only loss is to Pantoja, the champ. You know what I mean? So, very close fight, though, last time with Tatsuro Taira. I will say that. So, unless he finds a big counter shot that's going to put Joshua Van down, which may be likely, but not really. Joshua Van got a pretty good chin, too. I think Joshua Van wins this by closing distance and pouring on the volume, withstanding any sort of takedowns, getting off the fence and the clinch. Joshua Van by decision. That's my official call. What do the people on Tapology have to say? So, 61% of people are picking Brandon Royval, the underdog here now. Most say by decision. 39% of people are picking Joshua Van, and most say by decision. Yeah, I imagine this fight goes all 3 rounds. These guys are tough, elite fighters here in the flyweight division, so super excited for it, though. Super excited for this fight. I'll say this right now. Joshua Van wins. I'm buying me a dang Joshua Van shirt, goddammit. All right, next fight on the main card, we have a lightweight bout. Beneil Dariush. Benny versus Renato Moicano. Money. Odds on the fight, plus 105 for Dariush and minus 125 for Money Moicano. My pick for the fight it has to be Renato Moicano, man. I need to see me another legendary post-interview speech, okay? But honestly, though, I think this is a very winnable fight for Renato Moicano, right? Now, Dariush, it looks like he's getting older, but these guys are the same age. They're both 36. It's just his hair keeps on graying, so it just looks like he's older. And I feel like we've just seen him fighting in the UFC for just quite some time, right? Honestly, this is good matchmaking here. It's just very good matchmaking between the two. But Moicano, why I like him. Decent striking, puts on a good pace, but I think he's going to be able to use the wrestling, find the back of Dariush, get some sort of trip around the takedown from the fence. I do believe Dariush is going to be like a little bit bigger, right? Like wider, more muscular, maybe a little bit more harder to take down. But we've seen Moicano. I mean, we saw him do it with freaking BSD, right? With these bigger guys, because Moicano's a little bit skinnier, right? We've seen him come in and take these people down and dominate them on the ground. Now, Dariush is no like fish out of water when it comes to fighting on the mat. Like, my dude's got some pretty good offensive grappling and wrestling. His get-up game's okay. I'm pretty sure that Moicano can hold him down on the ground, though, to be honest with you. When it comes to the feet, though, kind of, sloppy defensively. He can exchange. He can hit pretty hard. His striking's okay. When it comes to the feet, I think Moicano has a slight edge. When it comes to the mat, I think Moicano has the way better edge. Honestly, man, I wanted to say by this submission. Moicano by submission, because that's super live, dude. But I think that Dariush is tough. I think this can go all 3 rounds. I'm going to pick money Moicano to win this fight by decision. What do the people on Tapology have to say? So 75% of people are picking money Moicano. Most say by decision. 33% by KO. 25% of people are picking Dariush, and most say by decision. I think this fight goes all 3 rounds. Both these guys are tough. Dariush will have his moments, but Moicano is probably going to have a lot of top control time, mixing a lot of wrestling. Overall, it will look better. So I see him finding that back of Dariush so quick. I think Dariush can avoid the submissions, but Moicano's going to, get some nasty ground and pound in. So that's my official call. Moicano by decision. Next fight, we have Payton Talbott, Frank Ocean's boy, versus Felipe Lima, the Jungle Boy. Odds on the fight plus 170 for Talbott, minus 205 for Lima. My pick for this fight is going to be Felipe Lima. He has the momentum on his side. He came into the UFC hot, rattled off 2 great wins once off short notice from Muhammad Naimov. Gets a great submission out of his country. Another good win and performance versus Miles Johns. We just saw Payton Talbott get absolutely fraud checked by Raoni Barcelos, and it's not like Raoni Barcelos is this elite kind of force in the bantamweight division, but it showed that Payton Talbott really had no answer for the grappling and the wrestling, right? Felipe Lima definitely can take advantage of that. We saw how quick and easy it was for him to snatch up Naimov's back in the 3rd round and get a submission. The striking's nice too, right? Good kicks, good volume, powerful. Like, overall, his striking is dang good. Really good knees, I like. Good fighter IQ there in the octagon, so he's not stupid. Like, Felipe Lima is a force to be reckoned with. Payton Talbott was on a run, right? He's getting all these flashy KOs. The striking's pretty good, right? The big cage will probably help him here, but I think Felipe Lima is going to be able to close distance. I mean, in the past, Payton Talbott does have a sub win, so it's not like he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's probably just not the best. If you're on the Payton Talbott side, this is a buy low spot for you because he's an underdog for the first time. And he's usually been like a minus 12, 1,300 favorite, you know what I mean? So the best thing for him is to keep this a striking match and keep it on the feet and hope that he can win in a sort of like kickboxing match. But Lima's damn good there too. Lima will put on the pressure. He's going to be backing Talbot back, right? Great cardio. Honestly, he's going to back him up against the cage. He's going to find the back. He's going to submit Payton Talbot. That is my call here. Lima by sub. Okay? Payton Talbot's run was nothing that was impressive. Sub Nick Aguirre. Okay, nothing impressive. Who is that guy? KO Cameron Simon? At this point, everybody is. Yanis Gamori? Your 3-win finish streak is nothing to be, to brag about, to be honest with you, in hindsight. Hindsight on the Lima side, pretty braggable. Miles Johns, and Muhammad Naima. So, yeah, I got Lima by sub, man. The Jungle Boy is going to expose Talbott once again. Barcelos has pretty good top control, but really wasn't searching for the subs or anything like that. Felipe Lima has both. So, Lima by sub. That's my official call. What do the people on Tapology have to say? 70% of people are picking Felipe Lima. Most say by decision. 30% by submission. 30% of people are picking Payton Talbott. Most say by KO. Are we really still on the Payton Talbott train, guys? I have left that train. Okay? And I'll be honest with you. I was not on the Lima train for the first 2 stops of the train ride. Okay, but we have hopped on and we are going to continue to ride until the rail tracks fall off. Okay, so Felipe Lima by submission. That's my official call. Let's go. All right, our next fight, the featured prelim of the night. We have Jack Hermansson, the Joker, versus Gregory Rodrigues, RoboCop. Odds in the fight plus 164 for Hermansson and minus 198 for Rodrigues. My pick for this fight is going to be Jack Hermansson. Yeah, I'm leaning Hermansson right now, guys. Honestly, recency bias is definitely here. Okay? Rodrigues in his last fight gassed out completely after the first round. Cannonier took over, eventually knocked him out when Rodrigues had nothing left in the tank. Hermansson, on the other end, teaches a veteran lesson to Joe Pyfer. It's a 5-round fight. Pyfer wins the first 2. Hermansson takes over in the later stages of the second round and beats him up for the last 3. So, Hermansson ends up beating Pyfer in a big upset. I think we need to check weigh-ins, okay? Supposedly, Rodrigues had a terrible weight cut, and that's what led to his bad performance last time. But this guy, cutting down to this is this guy's a mammoth. He's humongous. He's 6'3". He's a huge specimen of a guy. Jack Hermansson is big, but Rodrigues is humongous and muscular. Hermansson ain't showing that type of stuff there to Rodrigues. And 37 years on the Hermansson side, 33 years on the Rodrigues side. So they're both in their 30s. You know what I mean? Hermansson on the later end of the 30s. Hermansson definitely has much more UFC experience. He has a pretty good chin. And yes, he needed all 5 rounds to win versus Joe Pyfer, but I'm thinking Rodrigues has another bad weight cut, right? Hermansson can weather the storm in the first round and take over from there when Rodrigues gets tired. One thing to mention, Hermansson did have some back injuries, and that's what led to that layoff when he came back and ultimately beat Pyfer. Hermansson got pretty good counters, so I imagine he's probably going to be on the back foot a lot, especially Rodrigues' style. He's very forward. He's very on the gas tank, moving forward. I mean, dude's powerful as hell, right? Great power punches, good on the fence. He's really nasty in the clinch and on the fence. Actually has wrestling too. Has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he really just doesn't use it too much, right? He just likes to prefer standing. So does he mix in the wrestling or not? Because Jack Hermansson can do that too, but I imagine he probably want to keep it striking, given that he probably knows that Rodrigues has that jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. So again, how I see the fight playing out is Rodrigues is going to gas out after this first round. Hermansson's going to be able to weather the storm and take over from there. So I got Hermansson. I got him by decision. I don't think it's a wild call, and the odds kind of show it here. Plus 164 for Hermansson, minus 198 for Rodrigues. Now, that's my pick right now. And I'm telling you, I need to see the weigh-ins to make my final official pick. It probably will be Hermansson, but I got to see how Rodrigues looks. If he looks dang good on the scale, no issues, right? And I look at Hermansson and he's not looking that hot. I don't know, I may pick flip. So I really got to check weigh-ins on this one. But Hermansson by decision is my official call. What do the people on Tapology have to say? See, this is pretty dang close, guys. 60% of people are picking Gregory Rodrigues. Most say by KO. That is probably his path to victory. Could, if he works on his cardio, could, fight out a decision. 40% of people are picking Hermansson. Most say by decision. And that makes sense because he doesn't really have knockout power, but he can win with good shots and volume. So, Hermansson by decision. That's my official call. All right. Fireworks for this one, guys. All right. We have Hyder Amil, the Hurricane versus Jose Delgado. Odds in the fight plus 130 for Hyder Amil, minus 155 for Jose Delgado. My pick for the fight's going to be Jose Delgado. He looked damn good in his last fight, given it was to Conor Matthews, who really isn't UFC caliber, okay? But prior to that, in all his other fights, he has looked dang good, okay? He's a dog. He's a tough Mexican. He's always been taller and longer. I like how he has that advantage in this weight class. He's just like a flashy young prospect, dude. Great kicks. Nice 1-2. Good movement. Good volume. Does good does good work on the cage sometimes. Does good work with his knees in the clinch. Now, he has eaten shots before. And honestly, has offensive grappling, but had a fight in the past. I think it was like Chris McConte. Quote me if I'm wrong, but don't quote me if I'm wrong. But he got bodied and handled all 3 rounds. He got wrestle fucked. Okay, and who's to say Hyder Amil can't bring that approach? Right? He has wrestling. He has done that to people before, and he has a great gas tank. So, but Hyder Amil is also a dog. He's also a power puncher. This is the dude with like the 92 shot combo. It was crazy. Right now, I will say I think he did not win that last fight versus William Gomez. I think William Gomez ultimately took that fight, but Hyder Amil, constant pressure, always moving forward and always on the gas tank, always closing distance. I mean, yes, he's like kind of has like a slower boxer, a slower kind of like bouncy kind of move, like not bouncy, but like clunky kind of movement. But he's always moving forward, right? Nice overhands. He's dealt with people with length before and had success. Fought William Gomez, as you saw. He's not an easy out. And I do like Jose Delgado a lot here. The younger fighter too. Hyder Amil's 35. Jose Delgado's 27, so 8 years younger. Jose Delgado probably going to have a little bit of a speed advantage. Hyder Amil can win this fight by making it gritty and wrestling, dude. Grapple, work for takedowns, put Jose Delgado on the fence. The big cage is definitely going to help Jose Delgado in this. But he's training at a good gym, right? He's at MMA Lab, training with good people. Has great movement, good little jab, has good distance management. I like Jose Delgado a lot, man. The kicks are going to eat up Hyder Amil to all levels, dude. Do I see a knockout? Probably not. Hyder Amil is a tough cookie. Like I said, he's not an easy out. But I think Jose Delgado can do enough to win this fight. Maybe a 29-28. Maybe Hyder Amil takes the 3rd round, but I got Jose Delgado, and I got him by decision. Holy crap. Wow. So 77% of people on Tapology are picking Hyder Amil. Most say by decision, 40% by KO. 23% of people are picking Jose Delgado, and most say by KO, and 42% on decision. Wow. A little surprised by that. A lot of love coming in on Hyder Amil's side. The number did drop. The Jose Delgado line, I've seen it kind of going up and down recently. It started out like minus 140-ish, moved up to a minus 170, minus 180. Now we're sitting at minus 155. So Hyder Amil, some love coming in on Hyder Amil. But honestly, I think the fight goes the distance. Jose Delgado is going to take it. That's my official call. Our next fight, women going at it. We have Viviane Araujo, Vivi versus Tracy Cortez. Odds on the fight, plus 205 for Viviane and minus 250 for Tracy Cortez. My pick for this fight is going to be Tracy Cortez, okay? Give me the girl that puts eyelashes on before she goes into the octagon. Yeah, I know that's kind of weird. I don't think anyone else does that. But she's the younger fighter here. She got her butt whipped by Rose, okay? But I think it was a learning lesson. Okay, her step up in competition, maybe a little too much. Rose put her at ease, put her at bay, say, hey, hold up. You got to work your way back up to me. You know what I mean? So I think it might have been a good lesson for her. But Tracy Cortez got some pretty good striking, pretty good boxing, been in the UFC for quite some time here. Now she can get clinched on the fence, and she is hittable at times and in exchanges. So don't get it twisted. But I've seen her training a lot. She's always constantly working. She will probably be on the back foot here. Vivi's probably going to be the one pressuring her. Tracy Cortez can mix in the wrestling and the grappling if she chooses to. And when she lands pretty clean. Like her 1-2 is pretty nice. Her boxing is crisp, so I will give her that. Now, Vivi, on the other hand, this girl, UFC vet, 38 years old, ranked fighter. Like, she's tough cookie, okay? Now, she can get controlled on the mat, and we've seen that multiple times. Is Tracy Cortez going to mix that in? She could. Ultimately, I think she might do that if she's losing the striking exchanges. But if she's getting the better of the striking exchanges, she's probably going to just keep this on the feet, right? Again, Vivi's always constantly pressuring. That's why I say Cortez probably going to be on the back foot. But at the end of the day, I think Cortez will find the better of the striking exchanges. If Vivi is sort of getting the edge there, Cortez will mix in the wrestling and the grappling because Vivi, again, 38 years old, almost 40, or 39 years old. Yeah, almost 40. I think Cortez just got more in her right now. She's going to be quicker, have a little more pop to her shots. Like Vivi, again, she's tough. Her fights always go to decision, so I anticipate this is probably going to go all 3 rounds. Good cardio. Really just decent striker overall. So, you know I like my Brazilian women and men. And I just like them Brazilian fighters, guys. Like, it's called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a reason, right? And that's just one fighter trait that you need to have in your pocket. But I don't know. I like fighters from Brazil. I got a little bias. But Tracy Cortez is my official pick, and I got her by decision. So, 88% of people are picking Tracy Cortez. Most say by decision. 12% of people are picking Vivi, and most say by decision. Yeah, this fight's going all 3 rounds, guys. Tough girls. I don't think any submission or KO threats. So, all right, next fight we have Terrance T-Rex McKinney versus Slavaklaus Viacheslav Borshchev. Odds on the fight, we have minus 185 for McKinney, plus 154 for Borshchev. My pick for this fight is going to be Terrance McKinney, and I got him by submission. I think he gets this fight to the ground within the first 3-4 minutes and subs up Borshchev pretty quick, dude. We saw how easy it was for Chase Hooper to do that. And yeah, you could say that was, Borshchev wasn't tapping. He was going to tap at some point. That shit was locked in, and he was going to tap. So it was just kind of like an early tap because he was going to get slept, okay, versus Chase Hooper. But Borshchev he's just not good at grappling, not good at get-ups, not good at scrambling, not good at sprawls. Terrance McKinney's going to take advantage of that, guys. Now, we've seen him get submissions in the past. He can find that back real quick. He can get takedowns with ease. He's an explosive force to be reckoned with in the first round, but he's first round or bust, guys. Okay, if McKinney gets out of the second round, or out of the first round into the second round, it's over. You might as well just, at that point, even if you had a great round, put your money on the other guy because he has not performed well out of the first round. Now, I do believe he has improved and worked on his cardio. And if he does go to the second round, he's probably going to look a little bit better, but it's something I just can't trust, Power for striker, wild, has tons of energy in the first round. Subs are always live. KO's always live. Borshchev is a little bit hittable, and even though he's like a really good striker, been in wars in the UFC, has a pretty good chin, not afraid to fight, gets in there and exchanges with you, loves to brawl. He has bad takedown defense and is sus to subs. And when I saw this fight announced, I was just like, dude, McKinney by sub. Easy. I really don't have too much more to say. Again, I think he's probably going to find a single leg, double leg in the first 2-3 minutes, get Borshchev on the ground, then work to either get an arm triangle or get on the back and get a rear naked choke. So, McKinney by sub is my official call. What do the people on Tapology have to say? 82% of people picking Terrance McKinney. Most say by knockout. I'm in the slight sliver, 15% by submission. 18% of people are picking Slavaklaus and most say by KO. Yeah, if it gets to the second round, Borshchev KO all day. If we're in the first round, Terrance McKinney is very live to get the finish. You could just, if you're betting this, right? Terrance McKinney round 1. Covers you for KO and sub, probably going to be plus money. So, but Terrance McKinney by sub, my official call. All right, next fight. We have Sedriques Dumas, the Reaper, versus Jackson McVey, the Moose. Odds in the fight plus 110 for Dumas and minus 130 for McVey. My pick for this fight is going to be Jackson McVey. Yeah. Give me the guy they called out of LFA. this dude literally just fought out like a week and a half ago. Like, but I think, dude, this guy's looking pretty good. I know the competition, he's not, his fighting is really not the best, but he's super explosive. He's usually bigger than his opponents. Has pretty decent grappling, and his subs are live, but his best work comes up on the fence and in the clinch. Dude has some great knees in the clinch, nasty elbows. Striking's okay, right? Pretty good kicks. Honestly, his game and his style really remind me of like McAuliffe. I don't know if you guys remember the McAuliffe versus Juice fight. Yeah, McVey really is kind of giving me McAuliffe vibes. So good kicks, good in the clinch, decent striking. It's hittable at times, but like he has never gone out of the first round in his 6-0 career. So now, yeah, this is his biggest test yet, going up against Sedriques Dumas. But honestly, I have no faith in Dumas at this point. Now, this guy's fresh out of jail. Okay, got arrested back in April. I'll give you the little breakdown of the story, right? Okay, breaks into his ex-girlfriend's house, steals some jewelry, leaves, runs, gets the police called on him. They find him somewhere else at a different location, maybe a different property that he owns or something, hiding in a dog cage. Gets put in jail, bails like $500,000. Like, I don't know, I'm just like, this guy's got a lot of stuff going on in his outside life. Like, how focused is he really in the fighting game? You know what I mean? And I think that they're throwing him out here for his last fight in the UFC to get kind of pummeled by this short notice called up-and-comer Jackson McVey, the Moose. Now, Dumas could make it a gritty fight, take McVey down, hold him down there. He did that in one of his fights and ended up winning. But his wins come against bums. His losses, he looked terrible. I mean, gosh, you lost to Michael Oleschechok. That dude's not really that good. Nerlson Ruzaboyev handled you easy. And, like, your wins are not good. Cody Brundage, Abu Azatar, and Dennis Talulin, like, those guys are scrubs. Let's be honest, guys. Your best win to brag about is Cody Brundage. Come on now, Dumas. But I'm not, yeah, he's usually longer and taller, Dumas is, but not here. I think Jackson McVey is a force to be reckoned with. I'm anticipating a first-round finish. Dumas, you better look out, buddy. Okay? I think that the UFC doesn't like the look that he's given off in one of the UFC fighters. I think they're getting him out on his last fight of his contract and, wiping their hands clean. I think this is Dumas's exit. So Jackson McVey, I got him by KO. All right. What do the people on Tapology have to say? 70% of people on my side picking McVey, most say by KO. 30% of people are picking Dumas, most say by decision. And yes, I think that's the most likely path to victory for both of those guys. So, Jackson McVey, slight favorite. Not too much experience. People are down on Dumas. So am I. I just don't think he's focused. I like, what, you getting fighting experience in jail? It's not the same as in the octagon. Okay? McVey by KO. That's my official call. All right, next fight. Heavyweights going at it on the prelims. We love it. We have Renato Diniz versus Alvin Guzzi Hines. Odds in the fight minus 298 for Diniz and plus 240 for Hines. My pick for this fight is going to be Renato Diniz at minus 298. Alvin Hines, if you guys don't know who this guy is, because I didn't. LFA guy, only really fighting in Minnesota. Like, that's all of his fights have all been in Minnesota with the LFA at least. He's a BJJ expert. We really don't see it on display too much, though, in the last few fights at least. Like, the last few fights, he's really been focusing on his striking, right? And most of the opponents he's going up against are much, like, smaller than him. Like, one guy came, like, 30 pounds lower than what Hines weighed in at, you know what I mean? So, yes, he mixes in the grappling and the wrestling and actually has some halfway decent cardio, some pretty good power punches. Like, he's actually a solid heavyweight coming in. He's one of these 2025 undefeated guys going up against a killer, Diniz, dude. Former kickboxer, great heavy leg kicks, amazing power in the hands, good 1-2. Not so much of like a combo guy. Has a nice 1-2 and throws out some pretty great heavy straight shots, but not really putting combos in. Looking for that KO shot, right? But he sucks on his back. If he gets taken down at any point, it's going to be on his butt for the rest of that round. And then we'll get back up in the next round, right? I kind of call Deniz kind of like a bigger Cesar Almeida, if you guys know him, right? Like, if they get taken down, there's no way they're really getting back up. Now, I will give Deniz credit. He held up pretty decently versus Carl Williams. Didn't really get handled or wrestle fucked until the later stages of the third round. And won that fight pretty clearly with all the strikes. So his takedown defense actually was okay in that fight, but then goes up against a Tybura where it's completely exposed again and held on the mat. So you would think and hope that he's working on that because he knows that's a hole in his game, but I think that he can withstand any of the takedowns that Alvin Hines is throwing his way. I mean, Deniz has much more experience, has a lot of kickboxing experience, has more MMA experience than Hines. Hines is going from fighting in these small cages in LFA and in Minnesota. Now you're going to the bright lights in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. You might, get some stage fright, you know what I mean? So Deniz has been there. He's rose to the occasion. He has knockouts. He's shown in some of his wins that, yes, I may get taken down, but I'll get back up and clip you. Right? So I'm going to pick Deniz. I got him by KO. Hines ain't going... Hines, you never seen power that Deniz brings. You never seen the experience from anybody that Deniz brings. Deniz fighting way better competition than Hines is. So, Deniz by KO is my pick. Tapology. 85% of people on Tapology picking Deniz, most say by KO. 15% of people picking Hines, most say by KO. I think it should be a fun fight. Deniz was supposed to fight someone else, so Hines coming in on short notice here. Cool for him to get an opportunity like this, but I just don't think that he's going to be able to rise to the occasion. I think Deniz is too tough. I think that he has too much power in his hands. I think he's going to be able to avoid the takedowns. I think Hines is going to kind of get a little bit of stage fright and have too, I think he's just not going to put on the performance that he wants. But I will be excited to see him in some later fights in the UFC. So Deniz by KO is my official call. All right, our first fight of the night. To start the card off, we have Nico Price, the hybrid, versus Jacoby Smith. Kobe. Odds on the fight, plus 1,000 for Nico Price and minus 1,800 for Jacoby Smith. My pick for this fight is going to be Jacoby Smith. Nico Price is the lamb of the week. I should be calling them now. 2 weeks ago, it was, Chris Mutino versus Michael Melmaker. Like, there's usually a lamb of the week, and here it is. Okay, when I say lamb, they're gonna get sacrificed. Nico Price is going to get his lights shut off by Jacoby Smith. He is going to get starched. Okay, Nico Price, much older than Jacoby Smith, coming in at 6 years older, has a lot more fighter miles than Jacoby Smith. My dude Jacoby Smith is physical, athletic, more than a power puncher too, has great wrestling and great top control, really good at closing distance. He is going to clip Price, dude. It's probably in the first round too. And we've seen Price get clipped. We've seen Price by Phil Rowe and by Robbie Lawler at fucking 42 years old for a retirement fight. So I think Nico Price is on his way out. I think this is a setup fight. I think Smith gets another highlight reel to add to his list of highlight reels. Jacoby Smith by KO is my official call. I don't need to go into this one too much. Nico Price, he is okay. He has a good jab when he throws it. He has decent volume. Not really known as a power puncher. Chinny, inactive, bad losses, bad wins. And awful on the back. Jacoby Smith could take down Price pretty much with ease. The path to victory for Price, you always have a puncher's chance, and you grit it out and win a hard-fought decision. I don't see either of those two happening versus Jacoby Smith. So Smith by KO is my pick. What are the people on Tapology got to say? 96% of people picking Jacoby Smith, most say by KO. 4% of people picking Nico Price. Doesn't matter what they say because it's not going to happen. Jacoby Smith by KO is my official pick. But that is all the fights, guys. Okay, we went from the main event all the way to the prelims and the first fight on the card. So if you have made it this far, thank you so much. Again, click that subscribe button. We are on the road to 300 subscribers. My Patreon's free. Links in the description. Check it out. You get all my bets when I place them. super excited for UFC 317, guys. We're going to do great this week, okay? I got a bunch of good looks, a bunch of great calls, and you know what? I'm just excited to sit back and watch all these great fights. So, Pasty, out. Let's have a good week.